started running in 2010. A coworker had asked me, you know, you want to run a half marathon for charity? I said, sure, why not? Ran it, placed top 10. I said, okay. Didn't think I was going to do that well, and that's when I started running, started chasing some standards, breaking records for Thailand. Standards would be, you know, running for like the World Championship. So I qualified for Worlds for the first time this past year, 2015. So there's a standard, there's a time you have to hit. So the time for that one was 2:43. So I hit that standard so it qualifies you to run in a World Championship meet. I think my mom and dad have been really excited, and you know, at some points they're like, okay, you could stop the athletics, you know, work and have a career, but they've realized that, you know, I'm an athlete, I always will be an athlete, and I love, you know, my profession. Last year really finally kind of like, okay, she's doing this running thing, she's at a level where she's like going to the Olympics and she's going to represent our country. They followed me everywhere last year. They came to Singapore for the Southeast Asian Games, so they've really been amazing. My dream when I was young was to make a national team to represent the, you know, a country, and now being able to do that, you know, you think about when I was that young working and hoping that you'd get to your goal, and I'm finally here. So I still haven't taken that in as much, but I definitely know, you know, I'm really excited. I'm going to take the most opportunity as I can, and, you know, represent the country well in the Olympics, as well as make a statement. You know, in Thailand, you know, it's still where women aren't treated equally as men in sport. You know, they're not supported as much. So trying to be that voice in Thailand as well, and also getting support as for the sport of running. You know, running is still not televised as much. You know, it just has been taken off this year. ABC just covered, you know, the New York City half this year, but it's very hard to get big broadcasting networks to cover a running sport over, you know, basketball or soccer. So really trying to give more coverage to runners, because they work as hard as any other athlete. You know, opening day, I think I'm just going to enjoy it because it's, you know, the opening ceremony, you're doing the walk, but how I'm going to feel in the start line and warming up, I try to look up pictures of what it's like to be in the Olympics. I try to see if I can get like the experience by watching some interviews, and then what I can control. So I, you know, try to imagine what the course is going to be like. Try to mimic anything that may happen during the marathon. There's nothing like the Olympics. Yes, I'm going to be competitive, but I think what I'm going to go into it is also like enjoy the moment while I'm running.
We wish Jane all the luck in the upcoming Olympics. Matter of fact, the upcoming Olympics will occur late this summer in Rio de Janiero, Brazil. My two guests are both very familiar with Brazil, its preparations, and its problems getting ready for this monumental event. A couple of Brooklyn athletes are expected to make the trip, and we'll talk about that too. I want to welcome back Doc Stanley.
Always a pleasure, man.
You know, you're always here, right?
Hey, man. Thank you, man. And we got Shareef here.
Yeah, that's right. And we have Shareef Bailey, the author of a series of books called Rio In Retrospect, An American Discovery. He's also an educator and also, on a personal note, former college roommate.
Yes.
Morgan State University.
Yes.
All right, we got that out the way.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. We got to talk about Jane. What should she expect during her route, during the marathon in August?
Well, the marathon will be run through Copacabana. It's going to, I can't remember the name of the starting point, but it's going to run through Leblon, Copacabana, Ipanema, and some of the other major areas around Rio de Janeiro. It's a very picturesque route. It'll be probably a crowded route. A lot of people are always in Rio from all over. So
Probably have to seal off the beach areas like that.
Yes, most definitely. Yes.
Weather-wise, now it's going to be their winter-spring season?
Yeah, it'll be basically going into their winter. The middle of our summer, July, is actually the middle of their winter. So it's pretty much the winter season in Brazil at that time. The Olympics start August, I believe, the 5th, and they run through the 21st. And that is the middle of their winter. The weather will be, you know, fairly nice, about 65. It'll average between 65 and 70 degrees on any given day.
So the Zika virus should not be a problem at that time. Do you
Well,
feel?
it'll be greatly reduced because it'll be much cooler, chilly at night. And of course, you know, in the wintertime, mosquitoes, you know, don't come out. But they're actually working on a vaccination right now as we speak that may, it's for the dengue virus, which is done, passes on the virus by the same mosquito. But they're working on a vaccination for both dengue and Zika as we speak.
Doc, also, do you feel, is Brazil ready for the Olympics?
Wow,
Because this is the best, this is the first Olympics in South America.
Ever
right?
in the history of mankind.
I mean, you look at
to have something-
Venezuela, you look at Peru.
First time ever. It's, you know, it seems somewhat that they're not totally ready, as they were not ready for the World Cup. There's questions about the water, and there may be some problem with the events. So I think they're not as ready as they should be, and they're not as ready as they was for the World Cup.
Now, you were there for the World Cup
Yes,
2
I
years
was.
ago. So.
Yes. The World Cup was very, very crowded. You know, they estimate maybe 1.5 to 2 million people on the beach at that time. I was there for a 3-week period leading up to the World Cup, and I was actually surprised that by the time the World Cup started, whatever they weren't ready for, they rushed and got it ready in time for the World Cup. So I would suspect that for the Olympics, they may have some last-minute things that they need to rush, but they have enough time to wrap it up.
It's going to be in just one location. World Cup, because I was there too.
Yeah.
It was
Spread out through the
it was domestic. Here, it's going to be just one central location. So instead of Sao Paulo, Fortaleza, and Rio, it's just going to be Rio. So that should be advantageous.
Right. The other advantageous thing is that for the World Cup, they built a lot of the stadiums and venues that will be used for the Olympics also.
Let's talk about a Brooklyn presence, because in Rio also you have an Atlantic Avenue, and you have a section of Rio called Brooklyn. I mean, when I was down there, you know,
Sao Paulo, too. It's in Brooklyn, yeah.
right. So let's talk about the Brooklyn presence. You have Nzinga Prescott. She's a fencer. She comes out of the Peter Westbrook Foundation. If we can get her up also, and she's a fencer. She's representing America for the Summer Olympics. You also have Bruce Carrington. He's an alternate. More than likely, he's going to be an alternate boxer on the Olympic team this summer. So Brooklyn is there, and Brooklyn has always been there as far as Mark Breland. You look at Mark Breland, you look at Aaron Smart, Keith Smart. They were both fencers in the 08 Olympics, and Riddick Bowe.
Floyd Patterson.
Yeah.
Floyd Patterson. People forget that Floyd Patterson won the middleweight gold medal, and he became the first ever heavyweight champion to ever regain heavyweight championship. But he's a Brooklyn boy too. Brownsville, legendary Brownsville. Shannon Briggs, Tim Witherspoon, him. You had Mark Breland, heavyweights, Mike Tyson, Patterson. Brooklyn has 5 heavyweight champions come out of Brownsville alone.
And fencing alone, we've been represented. I mean, you have the great Peter Westbrook.
Greatest
Peter
American
Westbrook
fencer of the 20th century.
Foundation. You have a signature glove up here,
Yeah,
right?
that's the one that's fencing glove. Peter Westbrook, greatest American fencer of the 20th century.
Doc has his own museum, by the way. You got to go to his house, believe me. Also, we have the great
Wilma
Rudolph, right?
Yeah.
And who Muhammad Ali was chasing after during the Olympics.
Yeah, he never caught her.
Never caught her, right? Too fast. And you have all previous signatures of other
Yeah, we have different
athletes.
gloves here, different Olympics. Oscar De La Hoya, Mark Spitz, Bob Hayes, Jesse Owens, Joe Frazier, Bob Neiman, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Edwin Moses.
Shareef, tell us about your book. You came out with this book, Rio In Retrospect, because you practically lived down here. You're almost an expatriate to a degree. You and Doc Stanley.
Yeah, I actually spent so much time there that the people believe that I live there now. But anyway, I wrote the book over a 3-year period to really celebrate our discovery in America. It's called Rio In Retrospect, an American Discovery in America, for Americans and other foreign travelers who have never been to Brazil before. I saw fit to write about our observations, and it's not just mine, Doc's, yours, the groups of Americans who go to Brazil on a regular basis and are greeted and welcomed by the people, how the culture is such a welcoming culture. The people, the food, the environment.
Hospitable.
Very hospitable, very loving people. And I just talk about and chronicle, that total experience. And it is really my 15-year experience, cultural experience in Brazil, to kind of tell our story from an American perspective. Yes.
Right. Especially, what do you guys expect during this Olympics? You expect any monumental events, anything record-breaking to take place track-wise, boxing, basketball? You have all that grouped in there because the World Cup, it was just soccer.
Yeah,
but
football.
you're going to have all that there in Rio at one time.
Well, something's going to happen historically and monumentally. I mean, because as Shareef said, they're such a warm, receptive people. They're such hospitable. And let's realize, outside of Africa, the second largest ancestry of Africans. So you're going to, the athletes are really going to enjoy themselves. They're really going to feel at home as they are, close to home as it is. So without question, something historically and monumental is going to happen there.
Soccer is their big sport down there. That's
Football, Mike.
Football. All right.
Football, yeah, what they call it. My brother and I in 2000, I think it was 2002, when Brazil won the last World Cup, we were actually landing in Rio from Sao Paulo, and it was bananas.
Yeah.
I mean, literally on the plane, and once we landed, the entire country was completely engulfed in the whole victory.
Yeah,
Brazil
is the Yankees of football. The great player, greatest football player ever. They've won 5 World Cups. He won 3 in a row. They have the greatest players ever. Right now, it's believed that not too distant future that Neymar will be the #1 football player in the world.
This is a book also people should read before they go to Rio, correct? Just to get a real perspective on what's happening,
what's going
the
on.
culture.
Yeah, what's the culture, the people, the neighborhoods, the vibe, the do's and don'ts, expectations.
There's a lot to do.
And don't do it all.
The first book basically outlines people like us going into Brazil, what we see, what we experience, our initial reactions and responses. The second book will talk more about what is happening on the ground.
And if you want to buy the book, how can you purchase this book?
The book is available actually on the website. That's rioinretrospect.com. It's also available through Amazon.com, Kindle Direct Publishing, and CreateSpace. So when you go on the website, you can actually purchase the book from any one of those areas.
Thank you guys for coming on. Thanks for seeing you again, bro.
All right, good to see you.
All right, good. All right.